You've probably heard the simple version: bees make honey from flowers. But that's not actually true. Bees don't start with honey. They start with something that isn't honey at all: nectar. Nectar is basically a watery sugar drink made by plants to attract pollinators. It's closer to sweet juice than the thick honey you eat. So how do bees turn a thin, watery liquid into thick, shelf-stable honey every single day? It's a whole factory process: part chemistry, part teamwork, part dehydration machine. First, a forager bee goes out to flowers and sucks up nectar using her proboscis. She stores that nectar in a special container called the honey stomach. It's not the same as the stomach used for digesting food. While she's flying back, the transformation already begins. Enzymes start changing the sugars, especially breaking down sucrose into simpler sugars. Many explainers mention an enzyme called invertase as part of this process. When she returns to the hive, here's the part that surprises people. She doesn't just pour nectar into a cell and walk away. She passes it to another worker bee mouth to mouth in a process called trophallaxis, basically sharing and transferring nectar inside the colony. This isn't just sharing food, it's also part of processing, because each transfer can add more enzymes and start removing water. Now inside the hive, the nectar still isn't honey. It has way too much water, and that's a problem because watery sugar can ferment. So the bees have one main job left: dry it out. Scientists describe honey processing as a dehydration process that includes evaporation on the tongue and then further water removal through hive ventilation and fanning behavior. That's where the everyday part becomes amazing. Worker bees repeatedly move nectar around, spread it into thin films, and place it into honeycomb cells so more surface area is exposed. Then other bees literally line up and fan their wings to move air through the hive like a living ventilation system. That airflow pulls moisture out of the nectar until it becomes thick enough to be stable long term. You can even see bees fanning at the hive entrance in photos like this. Once the moisture is low enough and the honey is ripe, bees store it in comb cells and seal it with a wax cap, like putting a lid on a jar for long-term storage. So honey is basically plant nectar collected outside. Enzymes, repeated transfer inside the hive, massive dehydration using airflow and fanning, sealed in wax once it's ready. And here's a scale detail that makes it feel even crazier: producing honey is expensive work. Some sources estimate huge flower visits for a single pound of honey. For example, the Canadian Honey Council breaks down how much work goes into making a pound. So honey isn't made from flowers. It's made from nectar. Then bees chemically remix it and dry it like a food preservation project until it becomes the thick honey you recognize. It's basically a flying insect turning plant juice into a pantry-stable superfood.